I'm
Hey Tom, how you doing?
good, Max. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday was a great day for the church, great opportunity for fellowship and some fun. So just looking forward to whatever God has next for us with that.
Yeah, it really was great just seeing everybody enjoying themselves and laughing and a number of the comments of I haven't laughed this hard in years. So that was spectacular. I think sometimes being in Christian fellowship truly is about having fun together. So, and that certainly was yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of fun stuff, we're wrapping up pretty soon this series on Little Books, Big Messages. We've only got 2 weeks left.
Hmm.
And so we're going to be in Third John this week. So what do you have for us on that?
Yeah, so Third John is another one of these letters written by the Apostle John, and the thinking is that he's writing these letters to house churches in and around Ephesus. And I say the thinking is that because the Bible doesn't specifically tell us, but church history records that after Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, that John basically moved his base to Ephesus. And as an apostle in that area, he naturally took over a leadership role or the leadership role in all of the house churches in that area. And so this letter, Third John, was written to one of the men who was hosting and maybe in charge of one of those house churches. It's a man by the name of Gaius. And he commends Gaius for his support of the men in that area that were taking the gospel out around Asia Minor. And so it's kind of the opposite of Second John, where the church was warned, don't support these false teachers. Here, Gaius is being commended for supporting those that truly do take the gospel message out to the people. And it's a really interesting, very short letter. We said last week that Second John was the shortest letter with 13 verses, and that's true. Third John is the shortest if you actually count the number of characters. So another
Mm.
really short letter. But in this short letter, he mentions three different men: Gaius, who he commends for his support, another church leader, a house church leader by the name of Diotrephes, who is more interested in making himself well known, putting himself as number one, and elevating his position. And so he's denying John's authority. He's not supporting these men taking the gospel message out. And he goes as far as to point out that he's actually kicking people out of his church that are supporting these positive ministries. But then the
Mhm.
third guy, a guy by the name of Demetrius, it's a very short little sentence, but in that you can see that what he's actually commending him for is walking in truth.
Mm.
And so we return to that theme of truth and how important that is to the Christian walk, and commending someone for supporting those who are sharing the truth, saying you can't be like this guy who doesn't support the truth. And oh, you also need to be like this guy who doesn't just support, but he actually walks in the truth in his daily life. So we get three very real world examples of what it looks like to live as a Christian in the real world. And it's so applicable to what we have today in terms of having to make those decisions every day about our obedience, who we support, what we give our time and energy and resources towards to grow forward. So a very applicable letter that I think could easily be sent to a church today, and probably John would be capable of naming some names today. So we're going to do our best Sunday to make sure we're on the good list, not the naughty list, when it comes to this type of assessment of our walk. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It is so interesting whenever you read this letter because so much of John's writing is typically so figurative and so
Hmm.
symbolic and the flowery poetic language that he's known for. And then, particularly in this letter, it's the most straightforward,
Yep.
detailed, to the point. You get what you need. There's no fluff in it. And it's like, did James actually write
Yeah,
this for
exactly.
you? Like,
As
uh,
I was reading through it the first couple of times, I had in mind it's like the note that your teacher sends on your report card back home to your parents. Does not play well with others, and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a very very pointed letter, very specific. So it's good stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, great. Well, I look forward to getting into it Sunday, and be sure and read through Second John or Third John a number of times this week. I've talked to a lot of people that have been listening to it or reading through it in different translations, and that's a great thing to do to get just a broader perspective and understanding of what this letter is talking about. So I highly encourage that. So I will see you Sunday.
See you there.
Have a great day, Max.
You too.